I came through here, and there were some, a lot of pictures that kind of struck me, but this one grabbed me the most for two reasons. One is that I marvel at manufacturing. It's just magical to me. I am enchanted by factories. I got that from my father because my father was a manufacturing manager, and so my favorite thing in the world was when he took me to the plant, and it was just that whole sort of industrial ballet that goes on in a factory. It moved me so much that I wanted to become a mechanical engineer all my life. That's what I wanted. So my first summer jobs were in factories. Thanks, Dad. Made a pretty good living too, thanks Teamsters Local 237. When I got to high school, I had to take a shop elective, and what I took was drafting, and I got really good at it really fast. So what that did is moved me from out on the factory floors into the front offices. By the time I got to Milwaukee, or to Madison, the UW-Madison, to study engineering, I already had a pretty good resume as a draftsman, as a designer. So I got a job right away. I got a part-time job right away for a place called Design Concepts in Madison. It's still there if you look it up. It's a design studio, and what we did is companies would hire us to design products, and then we had a machine shop out back where we would build prototypes of the products. So, I mean, how cool is that, Now, I was doing professional work, but I was still a college kid, basically. So a lot of times I was working on 2 hours of sleep and sometimes with a wicked hangover, But luckily, my boss was a very forgiving guy. He was the owner of the place, Dave, and I think he enjoyed sort of reliving his college days through me, So I worked on a professional drafting table, which is the size of a Mini Cooper. It's a big thing, and has a big drawing table on it. It's about 5.5 feet by 4 feet, and a big board on there. And it was very heavy, but it was all counterbalanced with springs in there. So you could just step on the foot pedal and release it, and you could move the board up or move it down, tilt it back or tilt it up. And that's how I liked it. I liked working. I had very bad eyes, so I liked working like 6 inches from the board. So I'd have it tilted up, and that's the way I did things there. And one day Dave came up behind me and started pointing out something I was doing on the drawing there. That had been a particularly difficult night the night before. And so I was fighting to stay awake. That was a battle I lost. At some point, I nodded off, and so my head went forward and hit the board really hard. And all the springs inside the board all went wah, 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 wah. So the impact woke me up, and I kind of looked at Dave, and Dave looked down at me and just shook his head and, walked away. I loved working in that studio. It was one of the best jobs I ever had. And the problem with it was that I was making good money. Like, why go to college money, So, and my studies were suffering. My father tried to straighten me out. He said, look, Pete, being a draftsman is like being a nurse. I don't care how good a nurse you are, you don't get promoted to doctor. So no matter how good a draftsman you become, you're not going to be an engineer unless you get that degree. And he was right, and I thought about it, and so I figured I had to do the right thing, so I quit school. And kept working. Let the good times roll, right? So I knew I had to get back to college eventually, and I did. But it was a couple of years later, and my focus had changed a bit by then. I went full creative and went to UW for radio, TV, and film, became a photographer, and that's reason number 2 that photo grabbed me. I just love the drama of that. To me, that is a product shot for a Milwaukee company that was really proud of what they made. That's it. That's my story.